thought I'd have a crack at this awning. So clocks have gone back, forward, whatever. I'm struggling to adjust. Anyway, this is my aluminium tube, and you've got 2 threaded holes. So one of those ends is going to be for a bearing and the other end is going to be for the drive system. I have this bearing. I've got a lot of them, but that won't go in. There is paper around that one, but I think that one will go in there. So what I could do is run a bolt through the back, bang that in, and then fix the bolt to a plate with a lip, and then maybe bolt it onto the back wall as well as the floor. That's a prefixed position then. It can't do anything, can't move left, right, up, down. And then this side we could put a plate over the top, a thick one screwed to there, with a shaft sticking out that could then go onto the spline. Let me show you what I'm talking about. It's going too easy, isn't it? I hate it when it goes easy, because when it goes easy, it goes wrong. Always. Every time. And I've got a choice of 2 of these units. I actually do have a choice. So I have this one, which I'll pull outside. This is heavy. This is too heavy. Don't know what it came out of. It's some lorry. Got ZF written on it. Oh, I do hope they didn't break an old-fashioned vintage truck to get that. Anyway, or we have this little cheap-ass lightweight aluminium cased, half the weight. It's still heavy, but it's half the weight. What can we say that weighs in at, as an example? 2 large motorcycle batteries, I reckon. Yeah. So that's what we got. Non-serviceable and a serviceable. So that one you can pump oil in, and that one you can't. That one has, oh yeah, yes you can. That comes apart, so you can take the shims out. 1-to-1. I reckon it's going to be this one, you know, because there's a fair weight on that. Pity. So I reckon the lid is going to be a simple affair, but I think the awning, when it is wrapped around, will need to be under wrapped so as it runs along that edge there. So when we shut the lid down, we can literally nip it into place so it can't move. And when we want to wind it back in, we just pop that up, maybe attach a small rope or chain or something to hold it while I wind it back in. So we literally hold the middle again, so we take the tension of the plastic up, because that's the whole point of it, and then we can wind it in. If I didn't have that as a problem, I could just literally have a hand winder inside and wind it in by hand. I stripped out the motor from that old solar panel array I was making that got too heavy too quickly. There's the tin, there's all the gears I made up. Oh, I spent ages on that, and it came out pretty bloody good as well, considering what I'm normally like. Anyway, there is the motor. That little sucker there spins. I've got 2 bevel boxes, as you know. However, remember when I said everything was going a little bit too well? Well, blimey. I can't put that way round at the back because that shaft is too big to fit. Now I could probably make an extension of some sort that could go through. I may have to do that anyway, but that shaft, be a little rough, fits straight in. If I was just to clean up those nasty welds and then cut that bit straight, cut a line through the middle and put a piece of metal through there so it had 2 pieces of teeth that could stick into the whatever you call it, that would work. Problem is, look, I've made this a little too low. That wasn't my intentions. It was meant to be a lot higher than that, but that was meant to be up to here originally. But I ended up putting it there, and I thought, yeah, it won't matter. But it kind of do matter. The other problem is the motor is now going in the bedroom space, which I really didn't want to do. That's really annoyed me. But it is on the top half of the ceiling line, so I suppose it won't matter too much, providing the motor doesn't interfere with the walls that have got to go up. That's the bit I'm bothered about. In other words, what I'm saying is the motor cannot come below the piece of wood line that'll be in here, otherwise it'll be a problem because the walls will not flip up. So there you go. We've got to chisel out a large lump of wood, and then we've got to try and find a way of putting a filler. Look at it. Hey, you own the place, don't you, boy? Huh? Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. Not quite the way it was going originally. I wanted it in the bathroom area because I ever have to work on it. I ain't got to lay down on my blasted back. I can just stand up and do what I've got to do. As you can see, that fits nicely in there, but that side, no now. So yeah, that will be fixed to the back wall, I suspect. I'm hoping I can get that right close up. At least get that first half in anyway. I'm going to get that first half in, and then I've got to make a blister over the cover because this all sticks out. So the slope is there. So when I put the alley in, I've got to put a blister over the top. I might do that out of metal actually, and a glass over it. I can do it out of anything really, but by keeping that spline and that shaft and just putting a plate of metal in there, if you look, it's like a clutch, I've forgotten what they call that, but a piece of metal going right through all the way in, and then a slit cut down the middle of that with the piece of metal slid inside there, very carefully tack welded in where that weld is there, and that will grip that, and then that's it, we've got it. There's not a lot of pressure going on this, so it doesn't need to be anything particularly special. That's why I didn't go for putting all of this lot back on, because I don't need it on there. That has its own internal gearbox, and that's perfectly good enough for what I have in mind. And that may actually act as a wood rough key, so if it overwinds it, it might snap it and not break anything else. Okay, got a battery charger on this. Forgot I had that one. Anyway, look. I'd say that's really slow, but with all things considered, I suppose it's probably about right. What I've done is I cut a bit of metal, slid it into the slot, cut a slot here as accurately as I could do it, bearing in mind that the centre hole is now missing on that one because of the weld, and we've literally just shoved it in there like so. So yeah, okay, we're getting there. That's just, 10 minutes work that? It was over an hour pulling everything apart, but it was about 10 minutes to put it together. You get out of it. God damn it. Get off me. Go away. Get off. As you can see, it's perfectly okay now. Back to his sprightly self. Sneak attack, huh? Is that what it is? Sneak attack. Yeah, you're screwed, ain't you? You can't get over that. Anyway, so far, we now have that mounted, and what I did is that is the end of an alternator, and as you can see, it's out by about 2 mil, and that's just because of the nature of my 3-jaw chuck. Ooh, that's silly, shouldn't do that. That is way off. Need a new one. Don't know how to get it off. Haven't figured that far ahead of me. I do have a 4-jaw in the house. Massive great 4-jaw that one day I will put on it. But for now, that's all I can do. I accidentally machined it down too far, so the piece that sits on the outside edge for the serpentine belt, so it don't fly off, I had to machine that off instead, which has left me with a really small area to mount it to. It's not really useful. I don't have any other. I don't have any spare of those. Otherwise, I would. I'd have a second. I'd have a second go at it. But it is the whole size was perfect to wallop onto that, which is what I did. So now that needs to go in there, and we need to get that absolutely smack bang straight and square. We now need to drill 4 holes, and we either need to run 4 rivets in there, which would work, or tap it out if I can find a tap, and run some 10 mils and then cut the nuts off and cut in a screw head so I can wind them out if I have to. At this point in time, I genuinely don't know what to do. To get this further in, because I think this is smaller than that, so I could put that further up here and have that swallow in further in, which would give me more area. Well, it wouldn't give me more area actually, thinking about it. Make no damn difference. Anyway, this side I have a bearing in the shed, I just don't have a bolt for it. So when I do find a bolt, I'll put a nut and bolt on the end, I'll hammer that in, and then we'll make a bracket that can fix to the floor and to the wall at the same time. And then that's it really. Then we just got to drill a hole in the bulkhead and mount the motor, which will go straight on that, no problems whatsoever. We'll do some oval holes so we can move this around until we get it so it's a good fit. And then we'll have electric awning rail. So all I need to do after that is get some thin aluminium trim, drill a series of holes all the way along in a very straight line, wrap the aluminium strip around some material of some description, and then rivet straight through onto that, pulling it out as far as I can pull it, and then we'll do the same again on the other end of the awning. And then it's just a case of getting some posts from somewhere, and then we can get the roof done and glass everything off. I don't know where the word Heath Robinson comes from, genuinely. I think it's within my age group of 70s, possibly 60s, who knows. But I know that when somebody refers to Heath Robinson, they kind of mean it's been slung together and it's crude, but it works. I'm hoping. Well, there you go. It's crude. But the throw out that I spoke about is very evident. So, this is remarkably I wonder what he'd lose to spend this. Lazy. Anyway. Chiseled, drilled, marked. Can't get that marking on that one. I was struggling with that one, but we've got one there to drill out. I don't know how I'm going to get that one drilled. So chiseled up there. I'm thinking of doing, in order to get the shape back, is foam filling. I've got a screw there to somehow get rid of. That's right in the way, right where you don't want it. But if I foam fill inside this cavity here, just in that area, I can get a knife in, I can just sand that out gently, and I've got my shape back. That's all I need to do there. And the glass all that inside up, and that'll be fine. This now fits in there where it needs to, as you can see. So I'm quite pleased with that. And on the inside there is the stubby bit that sticks out, and that's where the electric motor will attach to. So when we actually do build the foam section, I will put a batten down. We just tipped forward. What I will end up doing is putting a batten down one side, batten down the other side. We won't insulate that bit of wall. We'll put the motor on, we'll bolt that through the wall, and might put a piece of aluminium across the wood just so I've got something stronger to bolt to, just to spread a bit of load and all that. And after that we should be good to go. As for the piece of wood that I had to take out, can I see? I don't even know what I've done. No, I can't get that screw out from the inside because it was put in on the outside. So yeah, so we'll clean up that hole. We may have to make that hole bigger anyway, and we'll put the motor on and we'll drill the holes for that. Before I get into this and put it on the camper, I will put the motor on and power it up. Don't expect much from this at the moment, because what I've built at the back here, because the original bolts didn't work, is I've put in pop nuts, these, and I've got those that sit inside the holes that I pre-drilled, and I've only done 2. I don't think I need any more. What this is doing at the moment is acting like a sort of a wobble board. So, you know, how can I put it? You know those spanners? No, sockets, wobble sockets. So once this is all bolted down, this has got this can move left, right, up and down. Once I've got the angles that I need to get it absolutely smack bang square, this should effectively be good to go. And it is all down to getting this one here square. This is solid. This has no movement in it, whereas this one is allowed to move a little bit, but this will have to be bolted down solid. That can then go through, that'll unjoint to that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the extension lead out, I'm going to rest that end on my table, I'm going to position this so I think to the point where I think it's going to be square, and I'll put that on, power up with the battery charger, and we'll see. There she is. She's not the fastest thing in the world. I've literally, hang on. Now obviously I need to get this down level to stop that from moving around. And another thing I would like to try and do, but I think I might be too late on that one now, but is to drill out the holes in the steel plate that are bigger. But I think we're past that now. I don't think that can be corrected. But I have had this levelled out, and it doesn't wobble around. It does everything it's meant to. So I'm quite pleased with it. We've got to make a second bracket to go onto this. So this one will go down to the base, but it'll probably sit on a piece of wood. You can see the movement going on there, look. And that's because that's moving around up there. It will sort itself out, that I am fully confident on. Sorted. Now I've got good alignment. The block has now been done. Fairly tidy block. So we'll glass over that. We've got to router this piece down, so we've got to take the screws out. We'll router that down anyway, so this slope here will match that one eventually, because it is right up to the tip of this peak here. So hopefully we'll be able to conquer that problem. So what does it leave now? I suppose it leaves the roof to be done. The bit I've been dreading. So now we've got to cut some wood. A lot of wood. You need some strips. some strips because we've now got to fill in all of this, and I haven't a ruddy clue how I'm going to do it. Well, I'm not exactly moving my butt very fast. I'm trying to make this week go as long as I possibly can, because as soon as the plywood is on, it's gonna have to be sealed. I don't have a lot of time to waste because of the weather, and I generally don't know what next week's going to bring because we haven't got there yet. So 4 foot to there, and then from that one to that one, 4 foot. We've got a couple of foot from the that one to the end. So the offcuts, subject to how much of it there is, I might put some battens in on the front. What I am going to do, what I've got planned doing, is I'm going to put 2-inch insulation in, but I'm not buying 2-inch, it's too expensive, and I need a lot. So I'll put polystyrene in, 1-inch polystyrene in, and then I'll put a 1-inch piece of polyurethane in, which is what is pretty much under the bed, polyurethane under there, but it's a 1-inch piece. And I think that will be fine, because the polyurethane don't squash up as easy as the polystyrene does. So once I put the underside sealing in, that should squash in there quite nicely, and we've got some leftover polystyrene to go in on the sides, which will be fine. We might have to do 2-inch at the front, but we'll be fine with it, bearing in mind we've got a cover here anyway, which is technically an insulator. Afternoon. Completely forgot to pick the camera up this morning. We are now doing the roof. The beams are in, they're locked in on the side frames. I've also filled in the side frame up here. You remember there was a gap. Ply's got nowhere to sit, so all of this was getting sanded back, so I had to put cross beams in the end for the middle. I didn't have any choice. I didn't want to put them in. I was going to rely on the stuffing that's going in to make the roof rigid, but do you know what? That ain't going to work because I don't have any stuffing to put in it at the moment. I want to keep this roof as physically light as I possibly can get it, because it's got to be lifted off and taken in the back garden. So the first one's now done. I've just put this in. I've run out of wood. The only thing I've got left is that scaffold board. So I've laminated some scrap together. So we'll cut the next one out in a little while. I'm going to glue and screw this one down first. Get that one done. I'm not going to bother. Well, I say I'm not going to bother. I've got 3 sheets of ply, and I'd rather not waste a sheet of ply when I can use the offcuts. So I will have to find some more wood and go across the middle. And maybe use the 2 scrappy ends that I've got. Who knows? That's all I can really come up with. I'm looking forward to getting the fiberglass on both pieces, because the next stage is the lift up walls. That I'm looking forward to. Boogie dogies. There you go, it's done. Very crude, I ain't gonna deny that. We've got to sand it all back, all of it. We've got to get some nice transitions between each piece of wood by curving everything now. And I do mean curve. Everything's got to be done. That edge, everything, whole lot. So I'm not bothered by the tattiness of it. I kind of slapped it together. It's strong. This has potentially only ever been a mould, but a permanent one, because peeling that out, I mean, I would have to put 3 layers minimum of 600 GM glass fibre to get a shell from this that would be strong enough to do what it needs to do. So essentially the fiberglass will stick to that like glue, and then we can build off from the wood on the inside. You see, that's the reason behind it. If this ever rots out, then the easiest solution is sand the paint down and just layer up and layer up until it's got its strength back. Rip out all the interior and then gluing the battens in and relining. It's got heavy. I'm not going to deny it. I can move it, but this is heavy. I don't know if it's too heavy. I am a little concerned because we're still not finished yet. Very dark in here. Oh, there we go. However, if I don't know if you can see this, so maybe we'll go this side. I don't know. I think if this is too heavy for the back of the pickup truck, then this is going to have to go on a trailer. This is probably more suited to a Transit at the moment, the way I'm looking at it. But you've got to remember, right? Well, you ain't got to remember nothing. But what I'm trying to point out is the short wheelbase Transit and my pickups. There's not a lot of, as far as I know, there's not a lot of difference in the weight capacity. So this should work out. If it's too heavy, then I'll have to remove the buck, which is a bit rotten anyway, off the back, and put a flatbed, aluminium flatbed, and then this can go on top of the flatbed, and we'll put some lockers underneath that area there, and we'll go from there and see where we end up. So don't forget, we've got to cut that out at some point, but not until this has been firmly glued and screwed into place, which is now got me a bit concerned, because there's not many places to screw through, which is why I left that back piece alone. So yeah, I mean, essentially we could use it as it is, but you don't get a lot of headroom. If this was a boat, it'd probably sink because the carpentry is that bad in places. I'm not going to hide that fact. So, my legs aching at that. Had I just done this at the proper height, I could have eliminated all this extra material on the side here. We could have just gone straight that up to there, tipped it, and it would have been lighter, a lot lighter than it is now. But the wind, you'd know about it, you know? So, got to get a pen, got to mark up under here, ready for cutting. I've already done it. Because we've got to cut that out so we can put a plate across, here. But I am considering doing a repaint already, and I'm kind of thinking, if I'm going to do that anyway, why not glass fibre everything into position? So round off these ends, glass down there, repaint, glass across there, repaint. It's all got to be sanded all the way along. This edge, rounded off, everything. It'll be good. It'll work. I just hope I haven't made it too heavy. That's my only worry. Anyway, look, that is it now. I'm now waiting for these brats to go back to, sorry, children, adorable children, that are off to go back to school, because I don't really want to get that fiberglass started until that has happened. So the awning will be removed, which I'm rather pleased with. That works really well. So there you go. Once the fiberglassing has been done, we'll put the scissor lift jack system in place, which will be under here. I haven't made my mind up yet whether I'm going to actually add the wood fiberglass to the underside yet, because there is some wood, but I'm a little stuck. If I'm honest, I'm stuck. I need to keep the weight down, so I'm thinking about just plywood, a batten and 2 pieces of plywood maybe. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to go that far with it, I might as well just get some angle iron, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get some aluminium angle iron big enough to do the job. So I'm a little bit stuck on that one, but I definitely want to glass this bit over, but whether I follow it through underneath, I don't know. We'll see as we get to it, I suppose. So there you go. That's the first. That's almost there. We're almost there. I just want to get this thing locked down, so come winter time I can move on to other jobs, and then we'll worry about the interior in the spring. I just want to empty this thing out and put everything inside that I'm keeping, and then we'll put this thing up for sale after Christmas. Get rid of it. No one's got any money, but I'm not expecting it to sell. I'm expecting to scrap it, but if somebody wants it cheap, I don't care. I just want it gone. So anyway, I think that's it for this. So on that note, been at it so long I've got a beard. Anyway, yeah, thanks for the likes and the shares that you've given. I'd also like to say, I very much like to say thank you for the comment and the previous comments. Love comments, always have done, most of the time, when they're not rude. So yeah, I'm a little bit stuck on what to say really. So stay tuned. Next week or next weekend, hopefully we'll have the roof glass fibered, and we'll literally drop that back onto here. We'll take the crown off, and we'll glass that up as well, and then we'll sort that side out that I haven't stuck down yet, straighten that up, and then we'll put the scissor lift in place, and then we'll start thinking about doing the sides. So we'll power the scissor lift up, we'll put a battery in there, we'll fix it, we'll raise it, we'll measure, we'll work it all out, and then we'll screw them in. Gotta find some hinges from somewhere. I could really do with a 1 inch diameter piano hinge to run down both sides, and the only thing I can come up with on that is a load of hinges, like boxes of the damn things, knock the pins out and run one single 6mm rod through the whole lot, or 5mm rod, whatever it is that the hinge pins are diameter. That's the only thing I think of, because I need to spread the load as much as possible, because we do not want to lose this in the wind. Right, I'll catch you next week. Thanks for viewing. Bye bye.